Guess what time it is? It's everybody's favorite time. The group text behind the velvet rope combo platter. Good morning, David.
Crossover. It really is becoming everyone's favorite, Melissa. I don't know if you realize this.
Oh,
People,
yeah.
people are loving it.
I like the fact that they can get us a la carte or as a pre-fee.
Listen, we are here to just please and, we're giving someone everything, right?
Exactly. And what we love to talk about, reality gossip, plus some other gossip, but basically based in reality. So here's where I think we have to start. You know where I'm going. Bethenny Frankel and that ginormous engagement ring that literally you can see from space.
I've never had an engagement ring. How many carats do you think this is? Because I really can't tell.
It's well over 10.
Wow.
Well, and if you look at the picture, it's kind of set on a slight angle because it's probably too long to stay inside like her knuckle.
Well, girlfriend is thrilled to be showing it off now, isn't she?
Oh, yes, she is. And you explained to me, you were telling me the story that she's getting in a little war of the words with, and just like that, the Sex and the City reboot.
I mean, they have this scene with like Sarah Jessica Parker, and she's saying like, I almost rented a Hamptons house like 6 years in a row. And then, it was suggested like, well, why didn't you? Is it because of Bethenny Frankel? Look, it was a thing and I didn't think anything of it. And then everyone starts saying like, is this a diss by Andy Cohen? Because Andy is really good friends with Sarah Jessica Parker. Sarah Jessica Parker, look, I don't think she has total say over the dialogue, but she is a producer. She has some say. I don't know. Like, is this Andy getting this dig in at Bethenny through SJP and then just like that? Or am I just so entrenched in the reality TV world that I'm reading way too much into this and I need to take a day off?
Well, let's not forget that Andy is a businessman and Bethenny Frankel has made him a lot of money.
A lot.
So I couldn't imagine that he knew that was coming. But this story has picked up a lot of steam.
You know what I don't understand about it? Like when I think of the Hamptons, where I am over the summer, do I think of Bethenny? I guess, but I think of like Ina Garten and like there's really people that you associate the Hamptons with. Bethenny, since when do we associate the Hamptons really with Bethenny? Is that a thing?
No, I don't think so. I think the Hamptons are just associated with really rich New Yorkers getting away on the weekends and getting away for the summer. I know a lot of people who during COVID moved to their Hampton houses. Now, mind you, I don't have a Hampton house. I haven't been out to the Hamptons in the summer in at least 15 to 20 years.
Did you get bored of it out here? A lot of people get bored of it out here.
It was just sort of never my thing, but I didn't live on the East Coast.
I think that's what it is.
For me, that's what it is. But the Hamptons have become very associated with the housewives.
Yeah. So, I guess it's not that strange. I just feel, people read into this. I think her clapback was, brilliant. I think she also loves being mentioned. She gets to promote her new beverage.
Well, that was my favorite, was she did the clap back and immediately turned it into, but that's okay because I'm sitting out here drinking my new rosé. She is smarter than the average bear.
Yeah, listen, if I'm sitting here talking to you and someone tells me that Behind the Velvet Rope or Melissa Rivers group text or our crossover is mentioned on it just like that, I'm fine with that, and I'm going to clap back in such a way, right?
I'm going to clap back by saying thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please feel free to do it whenever. But let's go back to Bethenny's ring.
Yeah.
So you actually but knew who the fiance was. And I had no idea they've been engaged since February of 2021. Why do you think she suddenly showing it and talking about it? I think it's a whole press thing for the launch of the wine.
I mean, I kind of tend to agree because like she was engaged. It was nothing was ever announced. Then like the paparazzi did catch her and Paul on the beach, like I think last year. And, they saw the ring. She wasn't showing it off. In her defense, she really wasn't. So, but even then, instead of just saying like, let me address this and these are the pictures and there's obvious, she still really didn't speak out about it. I kind of agree with you. She did this whole post on Instagram that says like, I guess I never really addressed my engagement. And then there's a million pictures. If you slide left, there's one of the ring, there's one of them getting engaged. I really think it's time. I think like you said, it's all business to her, which I personally love. Like I could respect the hustle, right? So tie it all back to business, right?
Well, speaking of that, okay. Speaking of tying it all back to business. So we see Kourtney Kardashian, another reality star, at her husband's concert, Travis Barker, holding up a sign that says, Travis, I'm pregnant. Because we've been following their fertility storyline through the show.
Yeah.
And everyone like freaked out, and he supposedly was like, oh my God, and runs over to the side of the stage. But then they post pictures from that same night, and she is clearly pregnant and wearing like a sheer shirt. Like you can see the whole belly. So here's my question. It's a double whammy. Was this, they talked about that this was sort of her takeoff of something that happened in a Blink 182 video. So was this just their public revelation that they were pregnant and doing it, and that's clever and cute to do it like the video? Or are we being asked to believe that Travis didn't really know? Because if he didn't really know, and she's such a health addict, you would have had one point to say, honey, step away from the buffet.
Yeah. I would really like to know. I just assumed, at first I thought that he was finding out this way, same as you, until you see the pictures. There's also a picture now, I think on her Instagram or somewhere, where she is like literally showing her stomach. It's like, this is, I don't know. Oh,
yes, there's a bikini pic.
Yeah. So I don't know, like you might know better than me since you actually are a mother and have a child. Like how many months along is, it's certainly not, he would have known this. I think this was just their public announcement and they're tying it to the video, but that's not really what we were led to believe at the moment, or right? He seemed so surprised but yeah, right. You have to have known this. How long was she? Like 4 months? I don't know.
At least. So are we going to see them address like, oh, this will be really cute for our public announcement on the show? Or do we think that they're just going to let it sit?
That's the thing. Like, do they think that we think that this was their announcement to each other? Because that's just ludicrous. But if you look online, there's not that much talk about this. Why are you and me the only ones thinking like this? I thought the same exact thing. I'm like, I don't understand this. Once I saw the pictures, I'm like, how did he not wait? What? Like, this is so. And look, she's also really cautious about like she's far enough along because, they didn't want to announce it because of all their struggles with IVF until it was like a real thing. So
100%. And I totally respect that and get it.
Yeah. I get it.
Most women don't want to say anything till they're through that first trimester and everything is healthy at that point.
I'm just like, and then I also read, like, I'm more interested in, like, I heard like Scott Disick is just like devastated.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I read. But it's like, well, welcome to the party. Like, where have you been? Like, it is over with Kourtney and you. And I believe all these things I read that he's like, he gets it, but I think maybe he's just like Kourtney and Travis. You look at them and I think because they were friends for so many years, like, I think this is really it. Like, I don't think this is going to be like a Kim or a Khloe. Like, I think Kourtney and him are together forever now.
Oh, I think so too. And I think Scott, and again, we're just guessing. I think Scott, she was the love of his life or is the
Yeah.
love of his life. And some people just don't get over it.
Some people don't listen. If that's the case, it's sad because like he couldn't really get his shit together to make it work with her. But he had so many chances, right? I mean, and listen, I think we talked about this last time, like Housewives, so that I am all about the Kardashians. Like I still watch on Hulu, although I'm a little behind. Like I'm all about Scott. I'm all about Kourtney. I'm like team everyone when it comes to them. But isn't that sad that this is the love of your life and you just couldn't get it together because of your own stuff?
Well, not just that, you have to watch it all play out on TV in her new life.
Yeah. And Travis, like, look, I think this is, of course, like you said, we're just making up our own backstories now. But look, I think she's thrilled. Like Travis, is a man. Like you could just get the impression like Travis takes charge. Like you don't fuck with Travis. Like, right? Like I think that's everything she couldn't get with Scott. I mean, you also don't fuck with Kourtney Kardashian. Like she can get things done on her own. But you know what I mean? I think she's probably like Travis holds his own, right? Like he's a successful rock musician and he seems like he would just say, everyone watch out, my wife is coming through. That's what
Yeah.
you never got with Scott. Like this is it, Scott, it's over.
Yeah. But what I do, I mean, and I can say this from personal experience, they're both really nice people. And they're not always portrayed that way, but they're both very nice people.
This is from your time at E, running
No,
into
I mean,
them in
this
the
is
halls.
just where I've seen them socially. I've been around them socially separately. I have not been around them socially together. But they're nice. They're both nice. But I have to say, all of the Kardashians are nice. And I can say that from being around them. And they're nice. They're good people. And I think people forget that because they're so out there. There's not a malicious bone that I've ever seen in their bodies.
That's their reputation. Like, I've had people on that are like tangentially associated with them. And yeah, I mean, everyone says the same thing. Like they work, like they are workers. They know how to work it. They know what the job is. They get the job done. Like I heard, like they're on time. They show up. Who doesn't love that? I love that.
Yeah. I mean, they show up ready to go, do their job, don't complain, which is always what you want. Speaking of people complaining.
Yes.
Complaining. And this is like the all Andy Cohen episode.
People love to hear about Andy Cohen, so go on.
Okay. So the Andy Cohen, Meghan Markle thing. So there's been all this speculation that Meghan Markle doesn't do her own interviews. Now, you and I discussed this. Like, I'm not quite sure what that means. I don't know if the implication is that someone else does the interview and they drop in her voice. We all have people that help us prep with interviews. So are they just taking her to task because she has someone help her write the interviews? I do. You do. I mean, we all have that. But they came out because her interview of Andy got a little uncomfortable because she said to him, I was the biggest Housewives fan, and I begged, and you would not have me on your show. So here's Meghan, a C-list actress. Let's call it what it is. And she's busting him now for not booking her. Now, I didn't hear the episode, but apparently it came off in a very uncomfortable way, and Andy sounded uncomfortable. And he did say, well, boy, that was a mistake in hindsight. But Andy is just in the news cycle.
Is Meghan saying she would like to go on Watch What Happens Live now? Or is she not? I mean, because
I don't think that's what she's saying, but he did come out and say, God, I should just do Real Housewives of Montecito.
Would Meghan do that? I don't know. People accuse her and Harry just of being total fame whores, which I don't necessarily see. Do you see that? I mean, I could understand when you're on Suits, like you say, a C-list actress, why you may not get booked on Watch What Happens at that moment. Like, I could see that.
I can too. I mean, here, I couldn't get booked on it to promote the book about my mother.
That shocks me.
You know what? Nothing shocks me anymore.
That's true.
But when we were promoting Fashion Police and stuff like that, we were always on his radio show.
Did you feel slighted?
I think I was even on the radio show promoting that book. Did I feel slighted? I didn't feel slighted. I was really surprised. I was very surprised, but I have the utmost respect for Andy, like big time.
I mean, he created this whole housewife. I mean, if you think about it, it's brilliant.
He took reality TV to a whole new level. And he did it when he was an executive. And it is hard to find a programming executive that smart. So, he was always a star on some level, early on in whatever chosen profession was.
I also think it's really hard to be most of them don't want to, but to be an executive and say, now I'm going to transition to talent, which even the ones that want that's not just such a given thing. I mean, how many executives can say, now I just would like to be talent and it's actually going to happen?
Well, I have different thoughts about that for another podcast.
Okay.
But we're just going to continue on in this full-on Andy Cohen episode. Because the only show that we have talked about that is not one of his is the Kardashians. So far, we've hit Andy, and Andy. So I think we should be at least getting a t-shirt. Anyway, you saw something with Kyle and Kathy. Now, people always forget, Kyle, Kathy, and Kim are sisters.
3 sisters. It was one of the nieces. I think this is one of Kim's children's pre-wedding celebration. So not a wedding, not an engagement, just a pre-wedding celebration. And so Kathy and Kyle were both there, which that's not so shocking. They've been in other places together since this fallout from last season with Lisa Rinna.
Let's go back. Let's talk about that for a second, because you need to jog my memory on this. Because I am so deep in my love for all the Below Deck franchises that I think I don't absorb anything from any of the other franchises.
And by the way, because last time, I've now officially lied to you, because last time we did this crossover, I said, but the next time we speak, I'm going to catch up on Below Deck. You need to tell me when the next Below Deck is starting, whatever it is, and I'm going to watch from episode 1 and just stay with it.
We are in the new season of Sailing Yacht. So you can go back and catch up on that.
What comes after this?
11 episodes in. Then I believe
Mediterranean.
I believe Med comes back, and then OG.
Okay. I will wait to Mediterranean with Sandy and just start from the minute that it starts. And then we can talk about it. Because trust me, I get into Below Deck. Well, yeah, last season, Kathy and Kyle, look, come on, guys, you bring a sibling on a reality TV show, it's not going to end well, right? So Kathy came on her first season. She was beloved. We had this whole thing last season on Beverly Hills and Aspen, where the rumors are she had a complete meltdown. She was in the SUV. They say she used gay slurs. All of this, who knows? But
Kathy, Kim, or Lisa?
Kathy. They say Kathy started having a meltdown at the club. Lisa Rinna left with her. Then apparently in this Sprinter and on the way home is when she started using, having a complete meltdown because she didn't get her way. She was using gay slurs, and Lisa Rinna apparently was afraid. She's never seen such a display of a breakdown in her life. And it continued at the house. And so that's where we start with this. And then, Kyle really kind of stays out of it and really doesn't have Kathy's back. She just is this is between the two of you. Now throw in this complicated history between Kathy and Kyle anyway. I mean, it's so deep, right? Like a lot of people were like, is Kyle secretly enjoying this because she would like to say all these things to Kathy? And now, like after 20 years, she's Lisa Rinna saying all the things this is all this, there's a lot of psychology behind this, but it didn't end very well. And she certainly didn't like throw down to defend Kathy. And, now Lisa Rinna's off the show, and that's a whole nother thing. A lot of people have speculations as to why, and so then Kathy and Kyle really didn't speak after this, filming in a reunion, and Kathy's not back this new season. So they really haven't seen each other. I think they saw each other at one award show, because I mean, where else in LA are you going to run into your sister other than like the People's Choice, or it was something like that.
Craig's.
Craig's. Polo Lounge, and possibly an award show.
Yeah, or Spago.
So something like that. So I think they're cordial, but this was, so listen, I don't really read too much into this. Kyle just did an interview like 3 weeks ago or a month ago where she said like, yeah, we're estranged and we've been estranged before and we have to work some things out. To me, it seemed from watching this video, because no one's made a comment since this video. They were doing karaoke to We Are Family by Sister Sledge, which is a great freaking song, right?
Yes.
But, they say, they post it like a family, but no one's really spoken about this. So I don't really know if this means they're completely reconciled. Like, I don't think they went into a corner and really had these conversations, right? But I think they certainly were okay that night. I don't think they're reconciled. I really don't.
Really? Because sisters fight.
They do.
They get over it.
They do. But they've been off and on. Like, I think they'll get over this, but I don't think they've really are over it at the moment.
I would not be surprised if at some point we find out or we see an on-camera discussion, because most sisters and most family members, the fight is always a continuation of something that happened in childhood, whether you realize it or not. And you cut off my Barbie's hair is usually, and somewhere in the underlying fight, I also think everybody, when they're fighting, really does, and I always felt like when you would fight with your parents, you become a belligerent teenager.
Yeah.
I think that's who we are for the rest of our lives. But more fights. Teresa and Melissa.
See, that to me is do I think Kathy and Kyle will reconcile, like you said, at some point? Yes. I mean, they even say like, look, this is our family. Welcome to it. It's deep seated. No, I think Teresa and Melissa are totally different. I think this is it. I mean, they've basically said this. I mean, Teresa said on the reunion to her brother, like basically told Melissa to shut up. She's like, I'm speaking to my brother. This is the last time I'll ever speak to him. I mean, those are actually her exact words. I think this, and that's the other thing. It's like Melissa, and she's married to I think it's over between Melissa and her husband, who is Teresa's brother, and Teresa. Do I think, I mean, they make a lot of money, those two. I don't know if New Jersey can come back with both of them. The rumor is, I mean, a lot of people think this is the end for Melissa. I mean, Teresa's not getting fired, love her or don't love her.
No, she's not going anywhere.
So, I mean, look, they've had seasons where she's not gotten along with certain people and they were able to film. But I mean, this is so like there is this New Jersey pause, which you can call it whatever you want, but it normally starts filming 2 weeks after, and they're not doing that. So they really are trying to and the public is, I mean, the difference
ravenous.
Ravenous. Trust me. When I have a guest on that is pro one or pro the other, it is like it is like 50-50. People are, so like Bravo just wants this to die down. I mean, they also, I think, are trying to figure out how to do this. Like, I don't think they want to lose Melissa, but I don't see personally how they could film with both of them. And they've done this before where they just said, suck it up, pretend, for the money. But I think the thing is Bravo saying the public is not dumb, and we've done this before. And it's clear that, I mean, we can't just turn the cameras on and pretend this never happened. So they're actually attempting to make the New Jersey Housewives somewhat real instead of just saying, take your damn money and just smile. Because I think they would possibly do that eventually, although they say they're not going to. Like, Teresa's like, you're going, like, goodbye. This is your last time here ever. Like, she's also, I mean, I would tread lightly the more you say things like that, right? But she's not going anywhere. I don't know. I think that one's a mess, to be honest with you.
And speaking of messes,
yes,
Vanderpump Rules has been rushed back into production. I was just reading the other day, though, a lot of people are really taking swings still at Tom, as they should be.
people are not happy. I mean, my whole thing is like, so I don't know if Jax is back. The rumor is Jax is filming, but Raquel is not like there. So I still go back to like, is someone working with her? Like, is it, because at this point, everyone has spoken in some capacity except her. In a way, we want to hear, I think you even said last time we did this, that we want to hear what she has to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't know, like, is she in like a, wellness center, like a mental facility? That is the impression, but they're filming now. No one knows where like she is. So I don't know. Are we just going to move forward without her? Or is she just so smart and has a whole team that's just saying like, no, you can't speak? Or is Bravo involved in saying, don't speak? I don't know. I'm so confused on this. I've said this before. She really confuses me.
But there is definitely something. Bravo is too smart. The production company, including Andy, is too smart. And her agent is too smart. There is her version of the Oprah interview has to be coming, and I would not be surprised if it was timed with the premiere of the show.
And I assume if you do that for someone outside Bravo, even with Bravo, you're not just doing that. I assume there's something going into your bank account at that time.
Well, generally people aren't paid for these interviews, but these people are also owned by Bravo, especially when it comes to image and PR. Yeah. So I don't think there's any way in hell that she would be going rogue and doing an interview without Bravo's knowledge. Also, what people forget, you're under contract. There are do's and don'ts spelled out. Like the best was, there's always a morality clause, which everybody always forgets. And sometimes when someone's exhibited really poor behavior, they invoke the morality clause in everybody's contract. It's always there. Like it's standard operating procedure. So I just think whoever's got her ear is so smart. Watch, it's going to come out that it's Kris Jenner. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Like I said, I would hire Kris Jenner if I needed.
In a heartbeat.
But, Tom Sandoval did, he went on Howie Mandel, which he also got, they get dinged. I don't know about him, but like I had Kelly Dodd on my podcast. She got fined $16,000 for wearing a Drunk Wives Matter hat. And I know other housewives that have gotten, I guess maybe that's under the morality clause. I don't know, but they get fined. But I don't know.
But again, we don't know the ins and outs of their contracts. I think we have to dig around and see if we can get a template.
We need a Bravo contract, Melissa.
Oh my God, we do. We need our own wrap-up show, even if it's just on bravo.com.
Listen, I'm available, right? We'll be nice. We'll be like but we should like interview certain people or just this. Yeah, just this.
And we're cheap dates.
We're cheap dates. Well, listen, again, I go back to this. Fashion police, executive producer, come on. Like don't call somebody over there at E and I'll do it on E. I mean, but I think Bravo is where we should do it. They tried it kind of. I don't know if you remember the show. They tried it with like Giselle from Potomac, Portia. It didn't work, but they didn't have us, and we are cheap dates.
And we are but also remember on Watch What Happens Live, they have all the people on, but we don't have to have the people on. Like they can do cameos. We can just discuss and speculate.
I am fine with that. We can it's just more PR for their show, right? We can tie it into this podcast, like whatever they want. We are cheap dates.
Yeah, I'll do it for gas money.
I will do it. I don't drive. I will do it for Starbucks money. So
or Uber money.
Oh my God, honey. Uber is no joke. I will do Uber in the Hamptons is no joke, but I'll be in LA anytime they want me. I'll just be in LA more. I'll
that, or I think we need to be friends of the housewives, but in every single franchise. We can be like the Greek chorus in the background.
That works too. I mean, listen, and just I will get on a plane tonight. Like I literally will go to the airport after this chat with you. If they're listening and want to hire us right now, I just need Starbucks money and I'll get my own plane ticket.
I'd do it for gas money.
Okay. Let's make it happen, girl.
Okay, we're on it. I love you so much.
I love you. I could talk to you forever.
Well, let's start making our notes for next month.
There's so much.
There is so much, but I do need you to go and catch up on Sailing Yacht.
I'm going to try.
It is doable because there is all sorts of drama.
Are there any hot guys on there?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Totally. You can go like husband hunting on there.
Okay. I mean, even if it's from afar, I like when my deckhands or my stews the captain, anyone. I need to see something if I'm going to tune in.
Oh, and I have a new DM friend.
Who?
Fraser from, okay. So I followed him.
Of course you do.
No, I followed him and he is adorable and you will get to know him once you start watching. And
I had him on my show way back when.
And he DM'd me when I started, oh my God, I can't believe you're following me. Is this really you? I'm like, yes. And I can't believe you just DM'd me. So we like have this whole DM conversation going. I love him. And then ready for this? Yesterday, I get up and I look at my Instagram and I see that there's a message and it was Sutton. And she was DMing me saying that she and Cynthia Bailey were talking about me and how much they love me and just wanted to say hi. I literally almost fainted.
They're out here in the Hamptons. That's just a random, like, what are they doing in East Hampton? And like, wait, let's just have like a moment. Like, how does Melissa Rivers come into their mind when they're together? I mean, again, they're both been on your podcast. Maybe
but still, I was
I'm not knocking it. I'm just like, that's so random of these two to just think of like, let's DM Melissa at this moment.
And if I hadn't just gotten a new phone, I would have dropped it.
How long after you started following Fraser did he DM you? Was it like immediate? Was he
immediate?
Like, really?
Well, he must have been looking at his phone and suddenly I pop up and he was just like, but he was all like, oh my God.
He's a Melissa Rivers fan.
Oh, and he was a big Joan Rivers fan. So that was like a whole, but now we're in.
Now you guys have moved past that.
You know what? I think that, soon enough, I will be able to call him a dear friend.
Listen.
This is breaking news.
We need to go on Below Deck at some point.
Oh, for sure. We'll do a broadcast from there.
I mean, that's really where, talk about content. We could then go and we can come back and say, this is what really happens, other than the fact that we'll sign our lives away in these contracts, but we'll keep it high level and, nice.
And we get a discounted trip. David, I love you. Wait till next month. We always have so much to discuss.
I'm going to start taking notes of what we're going to talk about next month. So until then, bye.